welcome to the Glazov Gang. I'm Anne-Marie Murrell, National Director, Editor-in-Chief of Politichicks.tv, filling in for the irreplaceable Dr. Jamie Glazov. I think he's ice fishing with Eskimos. I don't know. But tonight I am so excited to be here. I have some of my favorite people on earth. First up, one of my best friends in the whole world, Beverly Zaslow. She is the producer of Runaway Slave, Hating Breitbart, and she was the producer for Politichicks studio show. So happy you're here.
Thank you for
Now, I know
having me.
Jamie's going to want me to ask you, is your heart beating a million miles an hour because you're so excited to be here for the first time on the Glazov Gang?
I've sat in the booth before, so
Yeah.
if Jamie was here, yes, Jamie, my heart would be beating 1,000 miles a minute.
Oh,
Yes,
but,
I'm
it's
excited.
not, but it's not with me. Hello.
Of course it is.
Next.
Of course it is. We're twins.
That was the right answer, though, actually. So
That was for Jamie.
yes. Next up, Michael Hausam. He is a conservative activist, writer/blogger, and he has a wicked, evil sense of humor, which goes along absolutely perfectly with the Glazov Gang. And it's your first time, too, so we're going to have
First
to
time.
initiate you guys in just a few minutes.
Okay, thank you. Glad to be here.
Last but not least, freedom fighter, warrior princess, Nonie Darwish, author of The Devil We Don't Know, The Dark Side of Revolutions in the Middle East. Oh, Nonie,
A pleasure to be with you, Anne-Marie.
I'm so happy you're here. Oh, this woman is a hero. Heroine, right?
Right.
Not like the stuff you shoot up. Okay. All right, because we have two brand new members of the Glazov Gang, I'm only doing this for you, Jamie. And first and last time ever, but because there's two, I'm going to do the initiation that Jamie forces everyone to do.
Uh-oh.
Bev, if you're on the Glazov Gang, you can check out anytime you like, but...
You can never leave.
All right, and Michael, who sang that song?
The Eagles,
Thank you.
Hotel California.
There you go, Jamie. Is that enough? Is that all right? Okay. So you're official.
We're in.
You are in
Good.
for the rest of your lives. You are officially Glazov Gang
Good, okay.
members. Nonie, you're a long time member. You're an old pro, but not a young pro. Old. You never say old with women. All right. I'm going to start off with something light because Jamie likes to go light, and then we delve into the darkness that is America 2014. Michael, you wrote an article for Politichicks, actually. You're one of our guests, right? You're not a politichick, you're a politidude.
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 Yes, thank you.
It's called How to Talk to Liberal Friends in 2014. My first question to you is, must we?
Unfortunately, sometimes we have to.
Why?
Well, there are liberals
At this
that are
point, do we
around
have
us.
to have liberal friends?
I have some liberal friends,
Yeah.
but I'm learning. I don't want to talk about politics with them.
Yeah. So you're not going to even try to enlighten them and save them? They're not
You
getting
know,
on the boat
I
with,
used to
with
be very
Noah.
passionate about that. But even this afternoon, with a buddy of mine, great guy, we're having a conversation online, and I hinted at a disagreement about the health care plan. And the very next thread, it is, I don't care about people, I'm totally selfish, I don't care what happens to people who are less. I mean, it became personal instantly.
Right. So why do you have that friend? Why don't you just not have that friend anymore? Is that person important in your life?
You
Would you
know-
trust that person with your life?
You know what? I probably actually would trust him with my life. I just wouldn't trust him with my vote.
Okay. Nonie, how about you? Do you
Well-
have to talk to liberals?
I do, and I try to avoid talking politics to them, but I'm not going to change myself. I am who I am, and we have to never be ashamed of what we believe in. So I am who I am, and I'm really proud that I've known a few liberals in my life, and they have changed just by observing me,
Oh.
without me trying much.
Wow.
So they live by they see by your example.
Yeah, by my
Okay.
example, especially when they see a woman who is Middle Eastern, who came from tyranny and chose to be a Republican and a conservative. And I've always been a Republican and a conservative before even moving to the United States.
Yeah.
I appreciated
In Egypt.
capitalism because I lived under socialism and it was terrible. So I think I have lived under socialism and under tyranny. So there is nothing that will stop me from speaking my mind. Nothing.
When you see us going down the same path.
And I don't care if they tell me you're a racist, you're a bigot, you're a Islamophobe. I don't care. I come from a culture in the Middle East where everybody's a racist and a bigot and a Islamophobe.
Of course.
And actually the most ethnocentric people in the world are Arabs. And people don't even know that. They are so proud of their race and their culture, and they look down on the great Satan and the little Satan. And so I come from people who are proud of being racist, so who cares?
Well, in one of your books, your first book was called "And Now They Call Me Infidel."
Infidel. So I've been called all kinds of names from my culture. So what's more of
One more name.
insults in America? Big deal.
All right, Beverly
And-
Zaslow. You've been in the entertainment industry
Right.
your entire adult life. You worked for
Yes.
Jerry Weintraub. You have produced movies.
That's correct.
You worked for PBS.
That's
Da,
correct.
Da, da.
Dun, dun, dun.
So, how do
I
you do
believe
it?
you have to get in people's faces, but diplomatically. You know me, and I'm ready to take on any battle there is, but I believe we have to get in their faces, and just by example, a lot of what you're saying, by example, show what we believe, live what we believe. And if somebody disagrees with you, I ask a lot of questions. I get in their faces and ask the questions and make them understand on their own. That's what I do.
All right. Well, we're going to stop talking about liberals because that makes my stomach hurt. We're going to move on to something that's pretty dark and sad and scary. Robert Spencer, just like Nonie, he is a freedom fighter. He fights. He has literally put his life on the line trying to enlighten the world about global jihadists. He has had death threats. He has multiple fatwas on his head. His family has been threatened with death, and he keeps fighting. He won't give up. Well, this story makes me so sick. In 2011, Anders Breivik bombed building in Oslo, Norway, killed 8 people. Then he went on a shooting spree. He killed 69, mostly teenagers, at a workers' youth camp in Oslo. He wrote a manifesto at the time, and he claimed that he did this because he was trying to fight jihadists the same way. He named Robert Spencer as one of the people that he looked up to. Well, of course, the media ate this up. They went insane. Robert was interviewed on NBC. He was on the cover of the New York Times because they got to link someone like that with an evil man in Norway. Well, flash forward to recently. A new interview has come out with Anders Breivik, and he has said, and actually Robert had to reinterpret. It was written it was in Norwegian newspaper, and he had to interpret it. And now Anders Breivik is admitting that the manifesto that he wrote was fabricated. He was actually trying to form a new Nazi party, and he actually believed the opposite of fighting jihadists. He wants to work with Muslims to help eliminate all of their mutual enemies. No one other than Front Page Magazine and Jihad Watch is reporting this. NBC isn't calling Robert Spencer to apologize. The New York Times doesn't have Robert's picture on the cover. They're not talking about this at all. So, Nonie, why is it that the media vilifies people like you and Robert Spencer and Pamela Geller and bans them from the UK, and they're not, instead of focusing on the monsters like this Anders Breivik and Islamists that want to kill everyone for existing? Why?
We have a media that is becoming very similar to Arab media that I grew up with. I grew up with a media that was the mouthpiece of the government, and I'm starting to see that we have a media that's really reminding me of Arab media, and it scares the hell out of me. But we have to know that this is a free country. We have Fox, we have radio, conservative radio, and we have making headways. We have to be confident. We have to stand up and rely on ourselves to spread the message and not rely on the mainstream media, because they're all like little boys. Look at CNN. Look at the men on CNN. They're like little boys who are watching everything they say, if it's politically correct or not. And all those little cute girls who are speaking like little polite girls who must follow the...
Yeah.
They are not impressive.
They're not
People are
telling the
not
truth.
watching them. They are not authentic. And it's time to grab into our power and to start saying it like it is, because we are not going to surrender to the media.
Beverly, is it the media's responsibility?
Absolutely.
If they cover a story like that and vilify Robert Spencer and link him with this monster, is it their responsibility to follow up when there's new things to report?
Of course it's their responsibility,
they?
but that doesn't mean they're going to do it, because that's the mainstream media. The mainstream media doesn't want to put this message out. The people who are behind it, the powers that be, they don't want to do this. They don't want to come out with the truth. They want to propagandize what's going on, and they want to put out the message that they want. So it is incumbent upon people like us to come out with the truth. When we know the truth is out there, we have to get out there, and we have to put ourselves on the line. And we have to take the hits and the things that people... I see what you post all the time. You write some pretty controversial things, and we have to take the hits from our friends who either tell us we're wrong or but we have to show them the way. We have to show them the way, and we just have to stick to our guns, and that's really what it's about. But no, they won't come out and apologize. Never. Never.
And Michael, okay, like the New York Times,
Right.
coming out with this lie, trying to reignite reignite that YouTube lie.
Right.
They never said, "I am so sorry."
Oh, certainly
I mean,
not.
of course, we don't
it's all
expect
narrative.
that, but still.
That's right. It's
in
narrative.
a case of this, Robert Spencer is risking his life for America.
Right. It doesn't fit the narrative. If they find, this most recent Chris Christie thing, if they find an email that Chris Christie said specifically laid out the steps and identified where the cones are supposed to be, that's going to be front page.
Yeah.
But if they find something similar that Hillary Clinton said, here's the phone calls we're not going to answer, here's what we're not going to do in Benghazi, and they find a video of her typing that email, that'll be on page 472 on a Tuesday.
Right.
Same with this kind of thing. It was super convenient to connect this guy to Spencer, because it's like, okay, we found a way to connect a wacko, killer, psycho with somebody that has a narrative that we don't agree with. And then they find out later, oh, that wasn't true at all. It's like, nah, what difference does that make? Right?
Nonie, jihadists want to kill all of us, everyone in this room.
Liberal
Robert
or
Spencer wants,
conservative.
exactly, everyone, gay, straight, everyone.
But
Robert
they're not,
Spencer
it's
wants
not a
to...
religion of peace?
Oh, yeah.
Sorry.
No, it really
Excuse
isn't.
me, sorry.
News alert.
Right.
Woo. Robert Spencer, you, Pamela Geller, you want to save people from jihadists. Why are they taking the side of the people who want to kill us?
I'll tell you what, I think, Anne-Marie, I think that America has been traumatized by terrorism. This is the first, 9/11 was the first terror attack on America, ever. They have never lived under this kind of terror. I've lived under it. And let me tell you that terrorism works. It works on the psyche of people. It works on nations. It makes them compromise. Why do you think the Middle East is in such turmoil? Because people in the Middle East have been traumatized by generations of terror. And this is the end result. People who can't rule themselves anymore. If we allow 9/11 to divide us, like what is happening today, we have allowed 9/11, and our media is allowing it to live in denial. So the American people, they have been traumatized and they are in denial. And it's very much, in my opinion, like the Stockholm Syndrome.
Or like
We are
post-traumatic
trying-
stress disorder.
We're trying to appease our terrorists. And this is a very dysfunctional way to approach this. And that's why they define me And this hero, Robert Spencer is my hero.
Oh, right, yeah.
And
all of us. Yeah.
because he understands Islam and the Muslim culture more than many
Right.
Muslims. Most Muslims, 99% of Muslims.
Beverly.
We used to allow, when there would be a plane that was being hijacked, it used to be said, just let them take over, just let them listen to them, do what they say. And then we learned with 9/11 that that was a totally different story. But what you're saying is exactly the case. We're allowing them to define what is going on and what's happening because of the threat of more terror. So it ends up, it's effective, even if they do something or not, it's effective in that it shuts people up and it changes their behavior. And that's what we all have to fight. That's what people like Robert Spencer are fighting, and he takes all the hits for it, doesn't he?
Michael, what's it going to take? If 9/11 didn't make people understand the enemy we're up against, what's it going to take? And should I not have said that?
Yeah.
You know, that's an extremely hard... You have two visions. You have one vision of existence where there are bad people, and sometimes they need to be killed. Did you see Lone Survivor?
Not yet.
Okay. There are some bad people, and the only thing to do with them is to kill them, unfortunately. And there are others that think, no, there's ways to understand them better, and maybe if we understand them better, and if we are more and communicate care, like if I love the jihadist, and I understand him, and he understands that I'm very interested in him, then maybe he won't want to kill me. And there's a vision of humanity that people have with that what's it going to take?
Michael,
I don't know if that's
I
going
was
to
at
change.
PBS when 9/11 happened. I was working there, and one of the things that it was the whole agenda changed. It was all about understanding.
Right, right.
Exactly.
There's in a great movie, Monty Python, Life of Brian.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
There's a great movie. There's the crack suicide squad that are on these horses, and they're covered in all this gear and defensive, and they come running down the hill and screaming, and they're just imposing force. They open up their chest and stab themselves, and that's kind of what's happening.
Well,
But there's one thing quick.
we gotta go.
Sure.
As soon as we get back, we'll talk about that, and we're also going to talk about Nonie's latest article on Front Page Magazine. I am not kidding. You must read it, and wait until you hear the quote I'm going to read you from this. She just says some stuff about Obama that's going to make you happy when we come back.